Rap Circle is finally here. I know everybody been waiting for it, right?
Hey, I'm Pops, and Throwback Thursday continues a 1966 comedy, The Ghost and Mr. Chicken. Yeah, that's right. This is Don Knotts territory, right? Actually, this is post Mayberry, like post Andy Griffith show, right? He'd already done the Mr. Limpet film. He'd already done The Incredible Mr. Limpet with Warner Brothers, and he signs a 5-film deal with Universal. This is the first one of that, and it's like, I tell you what, look, here's the thing. Is this a great film? No, but can you just have fun? Can you? Don Knotts may be one of, if not the best, self-deprecating comedian. Like, he just is this over-the-top, thin-railed, nervous personality, this Barney Fife persona that he walked into. And here he's exactly the same, and it continues with some of his other films. Like, it's just played so well, right? Luther Heggs, he's basically a typesetter. He's not even a journalist, and he thinks he sees a murder, and it sets up all sorts of jokes. He's the butt of all of the jokes from an actual reporter. That guy's name is Ollie. Ollie is, he thinks he's somebody, and he's got the hot girl. He's got Alma. He's got the girl, right? And Luther is full of like envy. He's always having to do with the ridicule because he's small. And he ends up really becoming really closer friends with the newspaper's janitor, Mr. Kelsey. Now, Mr. Kelsey puts a lot of ideas in his head about this famous murderer in this old creepy house, right? The Simpsons mansion, right? So, there was a murder suicide type thing or whatever, and there's a legend of the ghost, right? The ghost is still playing the organ at midnight and all that. And basically, it's like this town legend and folklore. And Kelsey kind of like, I can't write it. You should write it up, Luther. It helps him write the story about the mansion. And of course, it becomes a hit because all of the gossip girls in town love it. All the gossip ladies go nuts. And the newspaper's editor, Dick Sargent, from Bewitched, famous Dick Sargent, right? He's kind of in over his head, like, because everyone wants more about this, because it's going to be the anniversary of this. They write about it, and they come up with this idea of having Luther spend the night in the mansion and then write about his experiences, which he does, right? He does. And it's played for gags, it's played for laughs, and it's very cheeky and silly. And that fear, the line of reality and his fear is where people have they basically take advantage of Luther, right? Because he becomes like a little town celebrity because he endured the mansion. He writes about the town folklore, becomes kind of a funny thing with like things that move, hidden passage, blood stains on the organ, these kinds of things. And he sees, he sees the weapon that allegedly killed the Mrs. Simmons and all that kind of stuff, right? Now, the person that wants to get their hands on the mansion and demolish it and all of that is now run into a brick wall because they can't close the deal because they want to try to make it a landmark. So they sue the newspaper and Luther and put him on court and humiliate him, right? Make a joke about it as a character witness. He's always concocting stories. He's got a wild imagination. His fear drives these lunacies, right? They decide, all right, well, here's what we'll do. We're all going to go down to the mansion and we're going to witness it ourselves, right? So that's what we're going to do. And nothing is happening. Nothing is happening, right? And what ends up so Luther is completely humiliated and embarrassed, but as he's leaving, he hears the organ. So he runs back inside and he finds Mr. Kelsey. He finds the janitor, and Kelsey admits he staged it. He knows about the secret passage. He knows about all this stuff. He explains that Luther has to help him expose what really, really happened. And that is the fact that this guy trying to get his hands on the mansion is secretly tied to the murder, and it involves the alibi and all of this. And basically Alma, the girlfriend, the hot girl, has been caught up on all of this, and it becomes like a last minute thing. And it's funny because he does sort of like the Barney Fife. He knows martial arts, of course, the 120-pound guy. So when it's his chance to save the day, he does what Luther literally just throws his whole body on him, just like lunges into him. And that's what gets Nicholas caught, gets him arrested, and the whole 9 yards. And of course, Alma's going to fall for him and he's going to get married and all that. It's silly, cheeky, fun. There's like an ongoing gag. So there's a famous writer that from that era who basically, I mean, he wrote on MASH and Andy Griffith himself, but he's not even credited. He's a voice in the background. He's always going, "Attaboy, Luther," and it's like this ongoing gag. And there's a female one that does it once, I think, but there's little old ladies that are always making jabs. There's the jokes at Luther's expense. It's really fun. It's clean. It's the kind of thing that we don't make much. And when we do, the character is not a likable character. Like, it would be easy to turn Luther into a pathetic individual. And in fact, the reverse happens, that we're cheering for Luther. We're cheering for Luther because we know what he told. We know his story is true because as the audience, but we don't know how it's going to play out. And too much of modern stuff always wants to make not just the main character to make him the butt of the joke, but he is a joke. And here, that's not the case, right? So he actually does step up. He has to throw his whole body at it. It's comedic in his efforts to prove himself and to become the hero. But he does ultimately, and he gets the girl, and that's what matters, and it's fun. So is this the greatest? No, it's not. It's an older film, doesn't get love. I love the Don Knotts era. This film where you have like the silliness, like The Shakiest Gun of the West is one that I also enjoyed very much. Then there's like The Reluctant Astronaut, Love God. They're okay. How to Frame a Fig is in that era of things like that. So obviously the classic one that most people know is The Incredible Mr. Limpet, which is a different studio. It's a different type of thing. And we know that, we have other things that he does in the 70s where he returns with Tim Conway. They do these slapstick films, Apple Dumpling Gang. And I probably should do a video because I really do love Private Eyes. It's one of my more favorite. It's one of my, I have like a guilty love of Private Eyes, of just being like silly, stupid fun. I remember seeing it as a kid and just loving it for some reason. I don't know. He's even in one of the Herbie movies, things like that. So anyway, do you like the Don Knotts stuff? Is it just fun to just go back and learn or revisit old films like this? Because I'm enjoying that. It's the kind of stuff that we're doing to really just enjoy good content and not just get sucked into the vacuum of everything is bad when they're, how about we watch some old stuff and have some fun? So anyway, that's my take on it. You guys tell me what you guys think. I love your recommendations. I love your thoughts and things like that as well. So feel free to keep those coming. And I appreciate it, man. I appreciate your time. I'm Pops.